All right, this is going to be a shoulder and back workout with the total gym. You'll also need a pair of resistance bands. I've always recommended you guys in many videos pick up a pair of resistance bands if you guys don't have one already. They're definitely going to add some versatility to your total gym. I'll put timestamps in the description box. I'll put links down below if you guys like this content. As always, please like and subscribe. This workout should take you about 25 to 30 minutes with these 3 circuits with 2 exercises in each circuit. I'll also even throw in a bonus circuit that I kind of did at the end, or just some bonus exercise that I personally did, but you definitely don't have to if you just want to stick to chest and back. But this first exercise depends on the nature of your machine and the sled that you got, but I kind of bottom out a little bit in this first set. I wanted to show you that as I'm kind of getting used to this exercise, but it's just a shoulder press. As you guys can see, I'm trying to press through the shoulder line. You might have to lean a little more further in and kind of, again, sit kind of how you see fit. This worked out for me. I noticed if I really fully extend it, or if I start kind of sliding down the machine, I'll get stuck. As you guys will see, the sled will get stuck and kind of come off the rails. That's fine. If that happens to you guys, just modify it and go with a single arm version, which I've done before. You can see I got it in the low setting. As each set progresses, I will just up the incline. So as you can see, I got stuck. I wanted to leave that in here just to kind of show you guys that will happen. It just depends on the model. This is a shorter sled, so this might not necessarily happen with you. It also depends on the length of your arms and stuff like that. You guys can see I put in a 30-second countdown. When this 30 seconds is up, it's going to signify I'm going to start the next exercise. I encourage you guys to kind of look at the head of the exercises before we start in the description box if you guys want to see what's coming up. Otherwise, you can always pause it. But leading up to this, it's going to be the next exercise is going to be a band row. That works out pretty good if you guys have a total gym tower. All you do is loop it around. I left the same incline pretty much the same. This first set really wasn't too difficult with both exercises, so you can modify this how you want. The rep range, I pretty much stick to 20 repetitions this whole workout, with maybe some getting a little bit lower. As I keep saying, you don't have to do a set number. Maybe 12 to 20 is a good range. You can even do more if you want to. I've just been finding for kind of keeping these workouts consistent with you guys and just the nature of putting together these follow along workouts, that solid number of 20 seems to be that ideal rep range I like to kind of stick with. So we're transitioning right into the second set here. Once these 10 seconds are up, that means I'm essentially going to be starting the next shoulder press exercise. So kind of get yourself situated. I do allow you guys a little bit more time on some of these exercises before we kind of transition, so you guys can kind of get set up. And so for the second set, you can see I just increased the incline slightly. I think the 20 repetition range was still, fine as far as where it's at. You don't have to increase it too high with this one. Notice I'm kind of adjusting the way I'm seated. So this is the first time I've done this exercise, guys, with double bands. I couldn't do this with double bands on my Weeder Ultimate Bodywork, so it felt good to kind of transition and try something different. Felt good, but just like I said, it takes a little bit of kind of finesse to kind of find this and dial it down for your range of motion, depending on the machine and just how the length of your arms and stuff like that. As these seconds are progressing, you notice the only difference I'm going to do when we transition into the second set with the resistance band row is I just increase the number of bands on the actual machine. So I think I might possibly even lower the machine to actually get a better angle. I might not, but as you can see, I guess I didn't. I'm just putting on 2 bands and increasing that intensity. You might notice this thing might want to pull you up a little bit, so it helps if you guys have shoes or something to kind of dig yourself into the carpet. You might even notice the machine kind of slightly sliding gradually. I eventually kind of locks up against my squat stand, so you might have to kind of lock this machine down, as my point. I don't know what kind of friction you guys got in the ground, but this thing might move depending on the how much tension you guys got in the bands. And then as we're starting this third set here, coming into the shoulder press, I just upped the incline to a much higher degree. I kind of lean in a little more slightly on this one, so it's up to you. And notice now each position I've kind of seated a little bit differently. Since I'm higher up, I can kind of tuck my knees back or tuck my feet back so they don't necessarily touch the ground. That feels pretty good. Again, depends on the machine, but for me, 20 repetitions was perfect rep range for this exercise. It was definitely doable. All these exercises, I really never try to get to total failure. Sometimes it looks that way because I'm trying to force myself to get to 20 for the sake of the video, but point is, I never really encourage you guys to really get to failure with these. I like to kind of get to the end of that rep range and maybe you still have like 1 to 5 repetitions left in the tank. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. And so after this exercise is completed, you're just going to do a third set with upping the band intensity for the rows and try and get that 20 repetitions. It's up to you if you guys want to do some extra kind of squeezing between each sets. I didn't do too much of that. I did a little bit of it, but really I think it was kind of hard enough to get to 20 repetitions with the band intensity that I had. Also, I couldn't really hold and squeeze with the band tension without my kind of the sled wanting to pull myself further, and also me moving the machine. So I kind of had to keep the rep range a little bit shorter. So again, this is the first circuit. I will see you guys at the start start of the second circuit, which is coming up here shortly.
I just want to feel alive, boy. I just want to feel alive, boy. I just want to feel alive, boy.
All right, we're going to start circuit 2 here, so I wanted to give you guys some time to transition and catch your bearings. You're going to need to set up that inverted press with the pull-up bars down below. You're going to be doing some inverted shoulder presses, and then you're going to be going right into a kind of a lat resistance band pull-up, where you're going to pull on the resistance bands. That's kind of going to pull you up in the air. I'll talk about that when you get to it. The second exercise, a resistance band pull-up, I've never shown before, and with these two exercises back to back, they couple really well together. The good thing is also you don't have to keep detaching the inverted press bars. You can kind of go right into each exercise and not worry about detaching that, because that can be kind of annoying if you got a total gym with those double clips. But once these 20 seconds kind of run out, we're going to jump right into that inverted press for 20 repetitions. So I'm going to kind of wait a second. I'll jump back in when we kind of get to it.
I just want to feel alive, boy. I can't see straight. They all start slipping out of hand. I've been running on the freeway.
All right, we're ready to kind of jump into the shoulder press exercise. Try and shoot for 20. Again, more or less is totally up to you. Keep in mind with this incline, I'm going to try and keep the incline the same for each of these same exercises. So for each set, we'll progressively up the incline, and we'll use that same incline for both exercises. All right, in about 10 seconds, we're going to be transitioning into the next exercise. You're going to leave the exact same incline where it is. Go grab a somewhat moderate to heavy resistance band. You could grab the same resistance band for all 3 sets. You're just going to be upping the incline anyways, so I choose a heavy, kind of thick resistance band. And what you're going to see here, the first few repetitions, I kind of transition into it, especially the sets 1 and 2. You notice what I'm doing here is I'm going to pull and squeeze the top. I kind of absorb it after just kind of like 2 transitions. I absorb it 1, and then 2, and then slowly lower myself down. So again, one big squeeze to pull yourself up. You're kind of essentially pausing at the top and then slowly letting yourself down. So there's a squeeze, a tiny bounce, and then I'm slowly lowering my arms, and this really kind of exaggerated eccentric descent down the rails here. This is this is kind of fun in one way, because you get this kind of like this fun little like bouncy effect. But as you guys see, if you're doing this, at least with me, this kind of creeps up on you, especially in set 3. I really had to pause. You might not see this as much unless you're actually looking at the video. I will have the countdown, but there's a few periods. I know at least in set 2, maybe in this set, but definitely set 2 and set 3, I have to take little breaks around the 10 repetition or 12 repetition mark to get to 20. So definitely tough. This is just one, doesn't take a whole lot of thinking about form. As long as you're keeping your chest on the pad, you guys should be good, and just kind of following this sequence. You're not just like bobbing up and down. Just focus on the squeeze and then slowly descent yourself down, focusing the lats, taking the grunt of that work. You might feel like your biceps and maybe your arms are kind of helping you, but as much as you can, think about the sides of your back doing most of the work and the squeezing. So it looks like on this one, I thought I had to take a break on this one. This wasn't too bad, but as this incline gets higher, I think I even go up to the very top when we get to set 3, but do your best as you can on this one. So this is gonna be wrapping up in about 30 seconds, and then I'll be jumping right into the inverted press. Keep in mind, again, you guys could take more rest if you guys want to. This might be pretty fast, especially considering that exercise. So notice I'm taking the pin out, and I'm just going to raise the incline a little bit higher. And again, pretty aggressive kind of jump there, but I just know for me, the shoulder presses aren't too difficult. You might not want to go that high. This is all totally up to you. So I'm just taking a little break, getting some water here, and then I'm jumping right into this inverted press again for 20 repetitions. All right, we're starting that second set for the second exercise in this second circuit. And I'm giving you guys a little bit longer rest period to kind of transition and get your bearings, because like I said, I think you need your rest for this one, because this was I found this one pretty difficult, guys. You guys might think this was easy. If you feel like it is easy, I would just say definitely choose a harder tension band. You could double wrap the bands, increase the incline, but I thought this was tough, and maybe it's just me, so that's why I wanted to give you guys a little bit more rest. You might even want to take maybe a whole additional 30 seconds or even 2 minutes if you want to. It's up to you if you think it's better to take some little pauses between sets versus just kind of, you know, taking a little longer rest period to fully get the repetition range. But definitely if you take a longer rest period, you should be in much better shape than I am, I think, in this set 2 and set 3. So aim for 20 repetitions, inclines exactly where it was for the inverted shoulder press, and I'll see you guys in set 3. All right, we're starting set 3 of this second circuit, and the incline is fully jacked to the top of the rails there. So up to you. Again, if you want to go lower, leave it the same. You could do the same setup for all 3 sets if you guys wanted to. But pretty much self-explanatory, guys. I'm going to check out of this circuit after this. Just do your best to try and get the full 20 repetitions. As you guys definitely will see, I know in the 3rd set when I start doing that resistance band lat pull-up, I have to take a little break. Nothing wrong with taking little pauses between sets. Otherwise, like I said in the previous set, just take a little bit longer rest period. So I'll see you guys in circuit 3. All right, we're going to be starting circuit 3 here. I wanted to give you guys a bit longer break after that second circuit. That second circuit to me, I think, was the hardest sequence. I try to make these where it's kind of a little bit easier. They build up in the middle of the workout, then the end isn't as tough. So this last circuit, not like it's totally easy, but this last circuit shouldn't be nearly as challenging as the other ones, assuming what you put the intensity at. But the first exercise is just going to be a lateral raise. You're going to want to put this fairly low on the incline, but again, it's up to you. You can do this a number of different ways. You'll see in this first set, I kind of mess with different angles in the way I want to pull this. There's at least 3 different ways you could do a lateral raise. In fact, there's like 4 or 5 different ways you can do a lateral raise with your shoulders on this. I'm just picking this one just because it's single joint, just working one arm at a time, because there's ways you can do 2 arms at a time, but just basically standing sideways. You're seeing me try some different angles just for fun, but for this workout, I kind of like, you can see I almost fell over there. I kind of like just kind of putting it in the front of my body, so I'll transition here, but try and shooting for 20 repetitions. And I know when I get to set 2 and 3, I believe I definitely don't get to 20. I shoot for like 10 to 12 as the incline gets harder, so I just sacrifice the rep range for the intensity. So you can do what I did. You can keep it low like this and go to full 20, or just raise the incline like I did and just lower the rep range. That's up to you. I'm trying as much as I can, keeping my palms down, and you don't really necessarily have to stay totally vertical, because you're still going to be definitely working your side delts based on this angle. I can just basically kind of think about keeping the palms down as you're doing that lateral raise. I'm also trying to maximize that range of motion, so a full kind of stretch down across the body to kind of stretch the deltoids, then a full contraction as high as I can for that lateral raise. And then after this exercise, we're going to grab the resistance bands. You can keep kind of the same tension if you want to. You don't even have to use resistance bands if you don't want to, depending on how difficult you think this is. You can always raise the incline. I just felt like it was a little too easy to kind of do this without some extra resistance, so I'm going to go ahead and attach one thick band. You could double wrap these, you could do 2 smaller ones, up to you. And I'm just going to be doing a simple double row. I'm kind of getting my bearings here as well. I kind of switched to a crossbody one. I like to kind of leave some stuff unedited for you guys too, to show that I'm messing around with this thing as much as you guys are. Nothing totally feels perfect sometimes, so I sometimes show me messing up and trying different things to see what works. So I encourage you guys to do the same thing. Don't feel like you have to be strict about everything exactly I'm doing, but basically I went from a lateral raise into some form of another row. In this case, I went to like a mid row. So now I'm going to raise the incline, take the straps off a little bit. We're going into set 2, and same deal. I'm just going to do that lateral raise here again. And if you guys did count the rep range, you'll notice that I only shoot for, I believe it's like 10 to 12 repetitions. I think I was aiming in my head to do 20 repetitions, but once I was like mid-set, I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to be getting 20 reps. So that's that for this circuit, guys. Kind of keep increasing the intensity. When it gets to set 2 for the second exercise here for the row, I do double bands, and I'm pretty sure I leave the same band tension on for the third set with the row. I just up the intensity and the incline of the machine. So I definitely, in all 3 sets here, will gradually up the intensity for the incline. So I will see you guys at the end of this circuit, and I'll talk about this little bonus circuit at the end. That's going to be kind of like an optional part of the workout. So I'll see you guys at that portion. All right, that was the end of circuit 3, and as far as I'm concerned, that could be definitely the end of the workout. That might have taken you the actual maybe 23, 24, maybe 30 minutes to complete that. I took some pauses, but I like to kind of do these little kind of messing around, kind of freestyle stuff at the very end of workouts sometimes. Sometimes I do showcase in the channel, but this is stuff I would record, but I just jump around so much that it might just be kind of crazy for people to watch. Maybe you guys do want to see this stuff. If you guys want to see me kind of really jumping around, going crazy on the machine, definitely let me know. In fact, this is what I love to do on the machine. I kind of stick to this traditional sets and reps when I record the workouts for you guys, because I know it makes it a little more easier to kind of follow, and it probably is better to do it that way, honestly. But this is me just kind of doing some touch-up stuff for the upper body. Since this was a chest and back session, I'm doing some rear flies, I'm hitting my arms a little bit here. This whole sequence didn't take me too long. I'm just showing you some shortcuts of the variety of exercises I'm doing. So here's some frontal raises, you guys saw some arms, you saw some lateral raises. I even do some touch-up chest stuff. You saw me do some chest pressing because I did chest earlier in the week. This is more shoulder focused, so I kind of do some touch-up, few reps of just doing chest. Not because, it's more or less just because of fun, guys. A big part of this machine and using the machine, and really all exercise in general, is just don't get too strict about it. Don't worry about, you know, hitting things with exact numbers. I listen to my body a lot, and I do really what's just fun and interesting. If something feels like it, here's a good version of lateral raises, by the way. I will show these on the next workout. I love doing lateral raises this way. It's another version of doing it. I just didn't think about it. But my point is, have fun with the machine, guys. That's the most important thing. If you're using the machine, that's the biggest obstacle. I've talked to a friend recently who's struggling with exercise. I said, really, you know what, the biggest obstacle is getting through the door. He goes to the gym, so I said, you know, just walk through the door, and that's a win in my opinion. Same thing with this machine. If you got the machine, you're not using it, just jump on, start messing around with it, do some touch-up stuff. In my opinion, if something is better than nothing, as long as that something isn't overworking and doing too much when you're not ready and recovered. But your body will tell you that right away. That's it, you guys. Hopefully you guys like this workout. If you guys like these follow-along workouts, you guys want to see more of them or some unique ones or some specific ones, definitely let me know. Always extremely much appreciated for you guys watching this channel, especially if you guys watch the end of these videos. I know a lot of people don't, so I always appreciate those of you guys that stick around to the end. But regardless, if you guys watch the videos, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.